Okay, so I thought I'd just make a very short tutorial on how to make a flying fox and what I've learnt. This was my first version, and I had this through a pulley which I managed to find somewhere, just rolling it around, but I found that in practice didn't really work unless there was a really big incline on the flying fox. And then when I was overseas, I saw a flying fox that had minimal incline and just very, very good bearings. So I managed to find this pulley, like a pulley off a roller door. What I've done is I've thrown it in there, and to make sure that it doesn't ever come off the track, I've put a nice little hole gouge in there, just to separate things so the wire doesn't come out. And then a bit of a obviously if this comes straight up, it ends up getting caught. The wire ends up getting caught, so I had to create a bit of an angle there. In just a second I'll show you my other flying fox has a different variation. You need somewhere to sit down on one end, and then this needs to be enough distance that the kid doesn't bang their head on the top part, so their head just sits below, so they can put their hands up to hold up the top. I'll just show you in a tick. So this is a different version that I created. Again, somewhere else to sit, a rope down the bottom that hangs so the kids can pull it up. And I welded all this together. Thought it makes sense to have some sort of a guide for it to run along. It means you can still attach it as well, because you just undo this bolt. One issue I do have with this is a little bit top heavy, so it tends to fall over like that on its own. Obviously that's not a problem when the kid's on it, but the wires here are to guide the travel. I think since then I sort of learnt that you can probably get away with just one pulley, or you do one of those triangle systems where it's just one piece of triangular metal with some sort of guide to make sure this doesn't fall off, and then the pulley that goes, the handle that goes through the bottom part of that triangle. I sort of did this version because this can swing as well, but yeah, the metal up the top is a bit top heavy. It again runs on the same pulleys that I just showed a minute ago, which are just basically roller door pulleys. These are small size ones, but yeah, in theory it works quite well. We've used stainless steel along the guide, and then basically a trampoline spring at the end with a couple of washers. And then one important thing you got to think about is when the kid stops at the end, they're traveling at such a speed, you don't want them to bang a post. So in this case I've built a pyramid where they can swing through the middle of it. If I did it again, did it over a longer distance, I'd certainly make it a lot bigger. So basically you just come to the end and you swing through. A lot of accidents tend to happen when they hit the post at the end or something like that. This does get up to a pretty good speed, but at the same time you've got enough area for the kid to use their feet as brakes when they're learning how to run it. I'm going to look at a pretty good treehouse. This is the kids' treehouse which I made, and yeah, they get some fun up there. Interesting that kids don't really appreciate things like this until they got friends around. When they got friends around, they're all up there playing around, and it certainly had a lot of use over the years, which is good. Cheers.